Aidan is a loving family man with dreams of becoming an actor. But when his father announces his cancer has returned, his family life is upended. He must figure out how to navigate his dreams and his responsibilities in Wish I Was Here.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm here with Salim and Zorianna, and we're going to talk about the new Zach Braff film, Wish I Was Here. We've all just seen it. Salim, what did you think?
I am actually a pretty big fan of Zach Braff. I've loved Garden State. I love Scrubs. And I think this is a great natural progression from Garden State. It shows maturity in terms of his filmmaking, in terms of his story abilities. However, it's extremely self-indulgent. It's essentially about a struggling actor who's trying to become a better father.
But Zach Braff's not a dad.
No, he's not. Well, he wrote the script with his brother, who's going through many of these problems that are in the story. So with that, it's very honest, it's very realistic, but again, it's a bit self-indulgent at times.
I disagree with the maturity aspect. I don't think he necessarily has matured because to me this film is essentially Garden State 10 years later.
Yeah.
He is still an actor, he is still self-absorbed, he is still relying on his father to help him out financially. It's essentially the same movie. Where's the maturity? Where's the progression?
It's in the characters.
Yeah,
and
the nuances.
the nuances, yeah.
As a filmmaker, he's matured.
Yeah,
but I mean, this, as far as a storyteller, I don't think so.
Well, first of all, before I start talking bad about this film, I do want to say that I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a great movie, and I loved Garden State, and I see the progression, mostly in terms of directorial style. But there is a polish to this film that makes it... The best way to describe it is the characters are exactly who they need to be for you to get the most emotional impact. The scenes play out in a way where you get the most emotional impact, and that's fine, but there comes a point where it's just, it feels contrived. Regardless, I do enjoy it. I was emotionally invested in it.
I did notice that there are some great moments in this movie. There's some real honesty to this. So that's why I can't hate it. It's just that the film is uneven. It's extremely uneven. And where you have Garden State, which is more of a comedy with dramatic elements, this tries to be more of a drama with comedic elements, which I think the comedy actually works really well.
Oh, yeah.
But I felt like because there's fantasy sequences, there's just so much that he's trying to throw at it, it just doesn't feel right.
Now, kids, unless you're on the Autobahn, you're never going to get a car like this up to speed. So in a city like LA, it's really about what it sounds like when you floor it from a full stop.
Yes, but kids, we're on Robertson Boulevard, so there will be no flooring it from a full stop. Will there be?
No, sir.
Thank you.
The need to resolve things neatly with a bow is something that you get from a weekly TV series where it has to be resolved that way. And that is where Zach Braff suffers as a filmmaker because he brings a little bit too much baggage from the television world.
Some of the best bit of acting, though, out of this entire film is actually Mandy Patinkin. He's wonderful. He's actually only on set for 4 days because of his rigorous Homeland schedule. And, you know, he plays Zach Braff's father who's going through cancer, and he does it so amazingly well. I think that he might get a little bit of recognition for it, you know, just because of how small the role was, but how big it turned out to be.
Zach Braff is great. I think Josh Gad steals every scene he's in, as usual, in every movie he's in.
Zach Braff, the director, indulges Zach Braff, the actor, and there's no separation of church and state. So that's one of the flaws of this movie, I think.
Well, he does indulge himself, but he's the main character. I think that his indulgence works. I appreciate every aspect of his hand in this movie as a writer, as an actor, as a director. The parallels between his life and the character's life are very, very similar. But I don't have a problem with that. I mean, when we start talking about how he got the money to make the movie, how he raised the money to make the movie
with the Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, that's when I guess maybe you can have the conversation. Well, like, you know, and say, well, if he wanted to really make a movie about himself, why didn't he just fund it himself? But
I don't have a problem with actors using Kickstarter for that. In this case, for the Kickstarter campaign, one of his provisions was that he would get final cut on this movie, and that to me, I don't think was a good thing because this movie could have benefited from some trimming.
In Garden State, he had more of a style. I'm thinking about specifically the scene with him and Method Man when they're in the hotel room. Like, that was a cool style, and there's none of that here except for the fantasy sequences.
Well, in Garden State, there was a lot of block shooting. He would set up a shot, and then both actors would be there, and it was very stock. Here,
theatrical.
there was a lot more going on, a lot more camera movement. He experimented with more elements, more locations.
there is a personal connection that I have towards it. Specifically, you know, growing up in a Jewish household and having a parent get cancer and then die from it. It felt like he was making this movie for me. So I guess I overlooked all of the stuff that was problematic, and I just appreciated the film as a whole. I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy it, especially if you like Garden State.
Wish I Was Here is a very dramatic progression from Garden State. Unfortunately, it's a bit too self-indulgent and a bit too uneven for me to recommend confidently, so I'm gonna give it a stream it.
Fans of Garden State will want to check this movie out, but for everyone else, it's a stream it.
This is a terrific film from Zach Braff. I just hope it doesn't take him 10 years to make another one. See it.
Our votes add up to 2 tickets, which is a stream it for Wish I Was Here. Cheers.
Cheers. L'chaim, as the Jews say. You didn't say the magic word.
Please!